How to spot the shadows lurking in your friendships and build a circle of trust. Imagine you're at a crossroads, facing a challenge that feels insurmountable. You reach out to someone you consider a close confidant, expecting empathy, support, and perhaps a reassuring word. Instead, you're met with a dismissive shrug, a quick change of subject, or even a subtle jab that leaves you feeling worse than before. A cold knot tightens in your stomach. Is this really friendship? We all crave connection, a sense of belonging, and the comfort of knowing there are people in our lives who genuinely care. But in the intricate dance of human relationships, not everyone who smiles in your face has your best interests at heart. Some wear the mask of friendship, only to reveal a different agenda when the spotlight shifts. These are the fake friends, individuals who drain your energy, erode your self-esteem, and leave you feeling isolated rather than supported. The pain of discovering a fake friend can be profound, shaking your trust in others and making you question your own judgment. But it doesn't have to be this way. By understanding the telltale signs, you can protect yourself from emotional exploitation and cultivate a truly authentic and supportive social circle. It's time to unmask the shadows and learn how to build a fortress of genuine connection. Here are 10 crucial signs that someone might not be the friend you think they are, and practical strategies to avoid their detrimental influence. 1. The constant critic and underminer. Their compliments come with a catch. A genuine friend celebrates your successes and offers constructive criticism with kindness and respect. A fake friend, however, often disguises their negativity as concern or tough love. They might give backhanded compliments, subtly undermine your achievements, or point out your flaws in a way that erodes your confidence. Sign: you share exciting news, and their immediate response is to point out potential downsides or compare your success to someone else's. They might say, "That's great, but remember how hard it was for someone else to maintain that level of success," or "That's good for you, but I always thought you were better at something else." How to avoid: pay attention to how you feel after interactions. Do you feel uplifted and encouraged, or deflated and self-conscious? If their advice consistently leaves you feeling inadequate, it's a red flag. Limit sharing your vulnerabilities and successes with them, and seek out friends who genuinely uplift and celebrate you. 2. The one-way street. It's always about them. Friendship is a reciprocal exchange of support, listening, and shared experiences. A fake friend, however, often treats the relationship as a one-way street, focusing solely on their own needs, problems, and accomplishments. They dominate conversations, rarely ask about your life, and are quick to steer the topic back to themselves. Sign: you find yourself constantly listening to their problems, offering advice, and providing emotional support, but when you need to talk, they're suddenly busy, distracted, or change the subject. They might interrupt you frequently or seem bored when you're speaking. How to avoid: set boundaries. If they consistently monopolize conversations, gently redirect by saying, "I'd love to hear more about that, but first, I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me." If they continue to disregard your input, reduce the frequency and intensity of your interactions. Focus on friends who genuinely engage in a two-way conversation. 3. The fair-weather friend, disappearing when the going gets tough. True friends stand by you through thick and thin. They offer comfort during your struggles, celebrate your small victories, and provide a shoulder to lean on when life throws curveballs. Fake friends, on the other hand, are conspicuously absent when you face challenges, only to reappear when your life is smooth sailing or there's something to gain. Sign: when you're going through a tough time, a breakup, a job loss, an illness, their calls and messages dwindle. They might offer superficial thoughts and prayers, but never follow through with practical support or even just a listening ear. However, if you land a promotion, throw a great party, or have something exciting happening, they're suddenly available and eager to connect. How to avoid: observe their behavior during your difficult periods. A true friend might not always know exactly what to say, but their consistent presence, even if it's just a check-in text, speaks volumes. If someone consistently vanishes when you're struggling, understand that their friendship is conditional. Invest your emotional energy in those who demonstrate unwavering support, regardless of your circumstances. 4. The gossipmonger and betrayer of trust. Your secrets are their story. Trust is the bedrock of any genuine friendship. Sharing vulnerabilities and secrets requires an assurance that your confidences will be held sacred. Fake friends, however, are often loose-lipped, using your private information as currency for gossip or to elevate their own social standing. Sign: you share something personal and confidential, only to hear about it later from someone else, or you notice them readily sharing others' secrets with you. They might also actively encourage you to share more gossip, indicating their own proclivity for it. How to avoid: be cautious about what you share with individuals who have a history of gossiping or who seem overly interested in the private lives of others. If you realize they've betrayed your trust, confront them calmly about it. If the behavior persists, understand that your personal information is not safe with them. Limit sharing sensitive details and confide instead in friends who have proven their discretion and loyalty over time. 5. The competitor, not the cheerleader. Your success threatens them. A real friend rejoices in your triumphs as if they were their own. They feel genuine happiness for your accomplishments and offer heartfelt congratulations. A fake friend, conversely, views your success as a personal threat or a reflection of their own perceived failures. They might display subtle envy, try to downplay your achievements, or even attempt to sabotage them. Sign: when you achieve something significant, their reaction is muted, or they quickly change the subject. They might offer a backhanded compliment like, "You got that promotion? Well, I guess someone had to," or find ways to subtly one-up you. They might also show visible discomfort or appear unhappy when good things happen to you. How to avoid: recognize that their negativity stems from their own insecurities, not from anything you've done. Distance yourself from individuals who can't genuinely celebrate your good fortune. Surround yourself with people who inspire and uplift you, and who genuinely want to see you succeed. 6. The opportunist, friendships based on what you can provide. Some individuals enter into friendships with an underlying agenda: what can this person do for me? They might be drawn to your connections, resources, social status, or even just your ability to provide rides or favors. Once they've extracted what they need, their interest wanes. Sign: they primarily reach out when they need a favor, a ride, an introduction, or access to something you have. Their calls and messages become more frequent when they require something, and less so when there's nothing to gain. They might also only engage with you in settings where their desired outcome is present, e.g., at exclusive events you can get them into. How to avoid: be aware of patterns in their outreach. Are their requests always transactional? Are they rarely interested in spending time with you just for the sake of connection? Learn to say no to unreasonable demands. If you consistently feel used or that the friendship is heavily skewed in their favor, it's a strong indication of an opportunistic relationship. 7. The manipulator and guilt tripper, controlling through emotional leverage. Fake friends often employ manipulation and guilt trips to get their way. They might play the victim, twist your words, or use emotional blackmail to make you feel obligated to them or to influence your decisions. Sign: they make you feel guilty for saying no, for having other plans, or for prioritizing your own needs. They might exaggerate their problems to elicit sympathy and attention, or they might try to isolate you from other friends or family members. How to avoid: learn to recognize manipulative tactics. Trust your gut feeling if you constantly feel emotionally drained or pressured after interacting with them. Practice assertive communication and don't allow yourself to be swayed by guilt. A genuine friend respects your boundaries and autonomy. 8. The attention seeker, everything is a performance. While some friends enjoy being the center of attention occasionally, a fake friend often turns every interaction into a performance, constantly seeking validation and making themselves the focal point. They might exaggerate stories, feign crises, or create drama to ensure all eyes are on them. Sign: they consistently interrupt others, divert conversations back to themselves, or create dramatic situations to garner sympathy or attention. They might also become visibly upset or withdrawn if they're not the focus of a group. How to avoid: recognize that their need for attention is often rooted in insecurity. While you can be empathetic, you don't need to enable their behavior. Don't engage in their drama or constantly validate their need for external affirmation. Focus your attention on those who contribute equally to conversations and group dynamics. 9. The backstabber, talking behind your back. One of the most painful signs of a fake friend is discovering they've been speaking ill of you behind your back. This betrayal shatters trust and reveals a fundamental lack of respect. Sign: you hear from mutual acquaintances that they've been gossiping about you, spreading rumors, or making negative comments. They might also be quick to talk negatively about others to you, which should serve as a warning sign that they likely do the same about you. How to avoid: if you hear about this behavior, address it directly and calmly. Observe their reaction and sincerity. A true friend would be genuinely apologetic and try to mend the rift. If they dismiss your concerns or become defensive, it confirms their lack of loyalty. Surround yourself with friends who are loyal and speak kindly of others, and who certainly wouldn't speak negatively about you. 10. The non-effort friend, they don't invest in the relationship. Friendship requires effort from both sides: time, communication, and a willingness to be present. A fake friend will rarely initiate plans, rarely check in on you, and consistently make excuses when you try to connect. Their presence in your life feels passive, and you're always the one putting in the work. Sign: you're always the one reaching out to make plans, sending texts, or initiating conversations. They rarely reciprocate or seem genuinely interested in spending time unless it's convenient for them. They might frequently cancel at the last minute or offer vague commitments. How to avoid: stop initiating and see what happens. If the communication or attempts to connect cease, it's a clear indication that their investment in the friendship is minimal. Direct your energy towards those who actively participate in the relationship and show genuine interest in your life. Building your fortress of authentic friendships. Recognizing these signs is the first crucial step. The next is to empower yourself to act. It's important to remember that not every fleeting interaction is a full-blown betrayal, and people can have bad days. However, persistent patterns of these behaviors indicate a deeper issue. Here's how to cultivate a strong, authentic circle of friends. Trust your gut. If a friendship consistently leaves you feeling drained, confused, or less than, pay attention to that feeling. Your intuition is a powerful guide. Set clear boundaries. You teach people how to treat you. Don't be afraid to say no, to limit your time, or to express your discomfort with certain behaviors. Communicate openly. When appropriate for some milder transgressions, a calm, honest conversation can help mend a misunderstanding. I felt hurt when you said X, or I feel like I'm always the one reaching out. Observe their response. Prioritize quality over quantity. It's far better to have a small circle of genuinely supportive friends than a large network of superficial connections. Invest in reciprocal relationships. Nurture friendships where both parties actively contribute, listen, and support each other. Be the friend you want to have. Lead by example. Be loyal, supportive, honest, and kind. These qualities attract similar individuals. The courage to disentangle. Embracing the freedom of letting go. The realization that a friendship is not what it seems, that it's a facade or a drain, can be profoundly unsettling. It's a moment of clarity that often comes wrapped in a cloak of pain, confusion, and even a profound sense of grief. We've invested time, emotional energy, shared vulnerabilities, and built a history, however flawed. The thought of severing that tie, of actively letting go, can feel daunting, almost akin to an amputation. Yet, as challenging as it may be, making the courageous decision to disentangle from a draining, inauthentic connection is not just an option, it is an essential act of self-preservation and a monumental step towards your emotional well-being. The unseen costs of holding on. Why is it so hard to let go, even when the signs are blaring like a fire alarm? Part of the difficulty lies in the invisible, insidious costs of maintaining a fake friendship. It's not just the blatant betrayals or the obvious slights, it's the constant, subtle erosion of your self-worth, your energy, and your trust in others. The sunk cost fallacy of friendship: we often cling to relationships, even unhealthy ones, because of the time and effort we've already invested. But we've been friends for 10 years, or I've done so much for them, are common refrains. This is the sunk cost fallacy at play in our emotional lives, the mistaken belief that past investment justifies continued investment, even when it's yielding negative returns. We fear that if we let go, all that past effort will have been for nothing. However, holding on to a draining connection actively prevents you from investing that same energy into truly supportive relationships. The erosion of self-esteem: fake friends often thrive by subtly diminishing you. Their backhanded compliments, competitive jabs, or constant need for attention can chip away at your confidence, leaving you feeling less than, insecure, or constantly seeking their elusive approval. You might find yourself modifying your behavior, stifling your opinions, or downplaying your achievements just to maintain a semblance of peace or connection. This constant self-censorship is a heavy burden, hindering your personal growth and authentic expression. Emotional exhaustion: these relationships are emotional vampires. They siphon your energy, leaving you depleted and exhausted. You might find yourself dreading their calls, inventing excuses to avoid seeing them, or feeling a heavy weight in your chest after interactions. This isn't just unpleasant, it's unsustainable. Emotional exhaustion spills over into other areas of your life, affecting your work, your other relationships, and your overall sense of joy. Distorted reality and trust issues: when someone you consider a friend repeatedly disappoints, manipulates, or betrays you, it can warp your perception of what healthy friendship looks like. You might begin to second-guess your judgment, question your own worthiness, or develop a cynical view of all relationships. This can create a protective barrier that makes it difficult to form genuine bonds in the future, perpetuating a cycle of isolation. Missed opportunities for authentic connection. Every moment, every ounce of emotional energy spent on a fake friend is a moment and an ounce that cannot be dedicated to a truly authentic connection. By clinging to the familiar, even if it's damaging, you close yourself off to the possibility of meeting people who will genuinely uplift, support, and appreciate you for who you are. The active process of disentanglement. Letting go is rarely a single, definitive act. It's often a process with varying degrees of difficulty depending on the depth of the friendship and the nature of the individual. The gradual fade: for less toxic or deeply intertwined relationships, a gradual fade can be effective. This involves slowly reducing contact, taking longer to respond to messages, becoming less available for social engagements, sharing less personal information, and generally lessening your investment in the relationship. The goal is to allow the connection to naturally dwindle until it's no longer a significant presence in your life. This method minimizes drama and can be less confrontational. The direct conversation, with caution in some cases, especially if you value honesty or need clear closure, a direct conversation might be necessary. This requires courage and careful planning. Focus on I statements, expressing how their actions make you feel rather than accusing them. I feel unsupported when. Or, I need my friendships to be more reciprocal, and I've noticed ours feels a bit one-sided. Be prepared for denial, anger, or attempts at manipulation. This approach is best reserved for situations where you believe there's a genuine chance of miscommunication or where you need to assert a clear boundary for your own peace of mind. For highly manipulative or toxic individuals, direct confrontation might not be safe or productive. The complete cutoff: for toxic relationships. For truly toxic, abusive, or persistently manipulative individuals, a complete and immediate cutoff, often referred to as no contact, might be the only viable solution. This means blocking their number, unfollowing them on social media, and avoiding places where you might encounter them. While drastic, this measure is necessary to protect your mental and emotional health when gradual methods prove ineffective or unsafe. It's an act of radical self-love. Navigating mutual friends and social circles, this can be one of the trickiest aspects of letting go. Be prepared that mutual friends might take sides, or you might have to adjust your social habits to avoid the person you're disengaging from. You are not obligated to explain your decision to everyone, but a brief, neutral explanation, "We've grown apart, it just wasn't working anymore," might be helpful for close mutual friends who inquire. The genuine ones will understand and respect your need for space. Preparing for backlash, fake friends, especially those with narcissistic tendencies, often react poorly to rejection. They might attempt to guilt-trip you, spread rumors, badmouth you to others, or try to win you back with false promises. Steel yourself for this. Understand that their reaction is a reflection of them, not of your worth or your decision. Do not engage. Your peace is paramount. Healing and rebuilding trust, the path forward. Once the initial disengagement has occurred, the real work of healing begins. It's a journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to rebuilding your inner resilience. Acknowledge and validate your feelings. It's okay to feel sad, angry, confused, or even a sense of mourning. You're grieving the loss of a perceived friendship, the hopes you had for it, and perhaps even a version of yourself that existed within that dynamic. Allow yourself to feel these emotions without judgment. Suppressing them only prolongs the healing process. Process the emotional aftermath. Sadness, for the connection you thought you had, or for the time you feel was wasted. Anger, at the betrayal, the manipulation, or your own perceived naivete. Confusion, trying to make sense of their motives and actions. Self-doubt, questioning your judgment, your ability to pick friends, or even your own worthiness of genuine connection. Journaling can be a powerful tool for processing these complex emotions, allowing you to articulate your thoughts and feelings in a safe space. Prioritize self-care. During this sensitive time, double down on activities that nourish your soul. This might include spending time with true friends. Lean on the people who genuinely support you. Their unwavering presence will remind you of what real friendship feels like. Engaging in hobbies and passions. Reconnect with activities that bring you joy and a sense of purpose. Mindfulness and meditation, to calm your mind and help you stay grounded. Physical activity, to release stress and boost your mood. Seeking professional help, if the pain feels overwhelming, or if you find yourself unable to move past the hurt, a therapist or counselor can provide invaluable guidance and support in processing the experience and developing healthier coping mechanisms. Reframing the experience as a learning opportunity. While the experience of a fake friend is painful, it offers crucial lessons. What red flags did you miss? What boundaries did you fail to enforce? What patterns of behavior do you now recognize? This isn't about blaming yourself, but about empowering yourself with knowledge. Every relationship, good or bad, teaches you something about yourself and about others. This newfound wisdom will serve as a protective shield for future interactions. Rebuilding internal trust, trusting your judgment. One of the biggest casualties of a fake friendship is often your own self-trust. You might question your ability to read people or make good decisions. To rebuild this, start small. Make conscious choices that align with your values, listen to your intuition in everyday situations, and celebrate small victories where your judgment proves sound. Remind yourself that you acted with integrity, and their actions are a reflection of them, not you. Rebuilding external trust, opening up to new connections. This is perhaps the most delicate part of the healing journey. It's easy to become cynical and suspicious of everyone. However, not every person is a threat. Approach new connections with a healthy dose of discernment, but also with an open heart. Start cautiously, don't reveal your deepest vulnerabilities on the first meeting. Observe consistently, pay attention to how new acquaintances act over time. Do their words match their actions? Are they consistent? Do they show genuine interest in you? Look for reciprocity. Do they ask about your life? Do they initiate plans? Do they offer support when you need it? Trust your intuition, but verify with observation. If someone feels off, pay attention. But don't let past pain blind you to genuine kindness. Avoid overcorrection. don't swing to the extreme of never trusting anyone again. This only punishes you and isolates you from the very connections you need. The unveiling, a life enriched by authenticity. By becoming discerning and prioritizing your emotional well-being, you embark on a profound journey of self-discovery and relational growth. You learn to unmask the shadows, not just in others, but in your own patterns of relating. This isn't about becoming cynical or viewing everyone with suspicion, quite the opposite. It's about being wise, protective of your precious heart, and intentional about the company you keep. When you filter out the inauthentic, you create space, mental, emotional, and even physical space, for relationships that truly uplift, support, and enrich your life.